Good morning, Todd.
Morning, Dave.
Welcome back. We're here again. Kind of a bit of a drag that we're still meeting like this, but I'm glad that we have, like Dave Talley says all the time, the technology to allow us to do this. That's pretty
right.
nice.
And the talented people to be able to put it all together.
There's a lot of talent in this room.
And it's not us. Well, what announcements we got, Dave?
Well, we're looking to do the senior breakfast. That's on, I think it's May the 10th at 8:30 to 10 o'clock here in the youth room. The seniors, we're going to celebrate them, but we're going to invite all of the youth folks to come on up and enjoy breakfast with them, do a send-off. Then we're going to go down to worship in the sanctuary with the adults. And then Mike's going to pray over our seniors. And again, they're going to come up here afterwards. We'll have one last Sunday with our graduating seniors.
Hopefully we can still do that on May 10th. And if not, what will we do?
Yeah, we'll do it sometime later in the summer. We're for sure going to send them off. So.
Yep, that's a big class, and they've been with us. Most of these seniors have been with us since they were a little bitty. So it's it's a neat thing.
It's going to be sad to see them go.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and then of course we've got Camp Elevate. That'll be this summer. More information will come out as we get closer, but start saving your money. It's a little expensive to go to that thing. We don't know exactly what the price is yet, but if you want to go, start saving your bucks.
And we'll try to figure out how to get you there if you want to go.
Yeah, do the best you can, but we'll figure it out, right?
Yep.
God's good.
I think that's it.
Yep.
I mean, at some point we'll have a bonfire, stuff like that, but we just don't know when yet, so there's no use in talking about it.
We can't set the date just yet.
Not yet, but we will have Reader burn some stuff and cook some food because I know he's game.
Well, but to kick us off, why don't we do like we did last week? We'll have little Dave start us off with a song.
Yep.
And then we'll do the lesson, and then we'll have Dave close us out with a prayer and a song.
Sounds good. Let's do that.
Thanks, Guy. In my mother's womb, you formed me with your hands, known and loved by you. Before I took a breath, is when I doubted, am I made? I'm wonderfully made. You've been not finished with me. You're not finished with me yet. You're not finished with me. You're not finished with me yet. You're not finished with me. You're not finished with me yet. You're not finished with me. You're not finished with me yet. When I doubt it, Lord, remind me I'm wonderfully made. You're an artist and the potter. I'm the canvas and the clay. I know nothing has been wasted. No failures or mistakes. You're an artist and the potter. I'm the canvas and the clay. So when I doubted, Lord, remind me I'm wonderfully made. You're an artist and the potter. I'm the canvas and the clay. I know nothing has been wasted. No failures or mistakes. You're an artist and the potter. I'm the canvas and the clay.
All right. Well, that was nice. Thanks, Dave.
Yep.
I think we'll go ahead and start breaking up into groups. But as we're doing that, I want you to look into the bottom of the post. You'll see a link there to the Bible Project,
Yep.
and you'll want to watch the Kings commentary again. This is First and Second Kings. Today we're going to be in Second Kings, and we're going to focus on chapter 5, verses 1 through 19.
Yep, talking about Elisha today.
Yep. So we'll get someone to read that for us.
Well,
And
Max
then-
do it.
Max can do it.
Well,
Okay.
Max do it.
And then let's go ahead and break up into groups. We're going to have equal numbers, right, in the groups. Okay, so let's go number off into groups of. You want to do groups of 1 this time?
We'll do 5 groups. Let's see. Yeah, 5 groups.
Maybe 6 groups.
6? Do we have 6?
Yeah, we got 6.
Okay, 6 groups.
1,
2,
3.
4, 5, 6.
All right. All right. Now that you guys got your groups all lined out, Max, can we have you go ahead and read the scripture for us today, please?
Now Naaman, commander of the army of the king of Syria, was a great and honorable man in the eyes of his master, because by him the Lord had given victory to Syria. He was also a mighty man of valor, but a leper. And the Syrians had gone out on raids and brought back a captive young girl from the land of Israel. She waited on Naaman's wife. Then she said to her mistress, "If only my master were with the prophet who is in Samaria, he would heal him of his leprosy." And Naaman went in and told his master, saying, "Thus and thus," said the girl, who was from the land of Israel. Then the king of Syria said, "Go now, and I will send a letter to the king of Israel." So he departed and took with him 10 talents of silver, 6,000 shekels of gold, and 10 changes of clothing. Then he brought the letter to the king of Israel, which said, "Now be advised, when this letter comes to you, that I have sent Naaman my servant to you, that you may heal him of leprosy." And it happened, when the king of Israel read the letter, that he tore his clothes and said, "Am I God to kill and make alive, that this man sends to me to heal him of his leprosy? Therefore please consider and see how he seeks a quarrel with me." So it was, when Elisha, the man of God, heard the king of Israel had torn his clothes, that he said to the king, saying, "Why have you torn your clothes? Please let him come to me, and he shall know that there is a prophet of Israel." Then Naaman went with his horses and chariot, and he stood at the door of Elisha's house. And Elisha sent the messenger to him, saying, "Go and wash in the Jordan 7 times, and your flesh will be restored to you, and you shall be clean." But Naaman became furious, and went away and said, "Indeed, I said to myself, he will surely come out to me, and stand and call on the name of the Lord his God, and wave his hand all over the place, and heal the leprosy. Are you not Abana and Pharpar, the rivers of Damascus, better than all the waters of Israel? Could I not wash them and be clean?" So he turned and went away in a rage. And his servants came near and spoke to him and said, "My father, if the prophet had told you to do something, would you have not done it? How much more then, when he says to you, 'Wash and be clean'?" So he went down and dipped 7 times in the Jordan, according to the saying of the man of God. and his flesh was restored like the flesh of a little child, and he was clean. And he returned to the man of God, he and all his aides, and came and stood before him. And he said, Indeed, now I know that there is no God in all the earth except in Israel. Now therefore, please take a gift from your servant. But he said, As the Lord lives, therefore before whom I stand, I will receive nothing. And he urges him to take it, but he refused. So Naaman said, Then if not, please let your servant be given 2 mule-loads of earth, for your servant will no longer offer either burnt offerings or sacrifice to other gods, but to the Lord. Yet in this thing may the Lord pardon your servant, when my master goes into the temple of Rimmon to worship there, and he leans on my hand, and I bow in the temple of Rimmon. When I bow down the temple of Rimmon, may the Lord please pardon your servant in this thing. Then he said to him, Go in peace. So he departed from him for a short distance.
Okay, so this first question, again, discuss this in your groups, and hopefully one member of each group will give us an answer that makes sense, right? This first question, why do you think Naaman believed the captive girl when she said that the prophet in Samaria could heal him? Why do you think Naaman believed her? Let's start with, you want to start with Emma's group?
Let's start with Emma.
Okay, Emma?
What?
Want to try Anna?
Let's go with Anna.
Yep.
Sorry, Emma was texting me.
You're not even supposed to have those. They're not even supposed to have their phones out.
I don't. You know what? Let's just go straight to Nathaniel.
Let's
Nathaniel
go
did a
Nathaniel.
nice job last week. Let's see.
He's become a rock star.
Yeah, he's doing well.
Her life was probably a great testimony of the God of Israel.
Yep. He nailed it again.
I think he's really on the money with this one.
I know what he's been spending his time doing over break. He's been studying the Word.
So I agree. I think that this captive woman was probably really living a life that honored God, even in a really tough situation. And I'll be honest, I think that when people are as sick as Naaman was, he was physically sick.
Right.
They're desperate, right? And they're open to a lot of different things that could provide them healing. And I think in our time, I think people are kind of soul sick. I think there's people that are really missing something, and they would take an opportunity to seek Christ in a situation like this. Right. So when people are desperate, when people are really sick and they know it, they're open to things like this.
Yeah, I agree with you. And that was a good answer, Nathaniel. I appreciate the time that he's put in.
He must have really put a lot of time studying.
He's put in a lot of time studying.
Yep.
So, yeah. All right, let's move on to the second question here. I'll read it for you. Why was Naaman offended when Elisha sent a messenger instead of meeting with him personally? That's the second question. Who do we want to go with first on this question?
Maybe little Dave.
Let's try little David. See if he can redeem himself.
What's your group
from
got,
last week.
little Dave? You know, he's a fine guitarist.
He can play a guitar.
He's really a good guitarist.
He can play guitar.
Yep.
But he can't answer a question.
Well, it's not his best thing. But he's good at the guitar. Really good.
Let's try. Who do we want to try now?
Have you tried Max yet?
I'm almost scared too, but let's go to Max.
Okay.
Go ahead, Max. What do you got?
Solomon.
No.
You know, he's actually a really good baseball player, though.
He can play baseball.
He's not a bad player.
Apparently, he's put in a lot more time though with baseball than he has.
Yeah, he's not cracking the books.
Right. Nope. Let's see what Nathaniel has. Let's just go with
That's
it.
usually a good place to start.
NJ, what do you got?
Pride and probably lacked humility. Thought in terms of man, not God.
Yep. He nailed it again.
Wow.
I don't even, at this point though, I'm no longer surprised.
Doesn't really surprise you.
When he nails it like he does.
Well, you know, Naaman, he was kind of a big shot in the Syrian army. I mean, he had access to the king. He's used to commanding the respect of people.
So who is this guy to not come out and
Right.
greet him and make a bigger deal out of him? I'd say that he lacked humility, obviously, as
Yep.
Nathaniel said.
Right, he was right on the
A
money.
very, very prideful guy. So
Yep.
he was expecting to be just a little more pomp and circumstance around him visiting
Yep.
with Elisha, and I think he expected just more to it, and just the whole process in general, really.
Yeah. It's easy to get prideful when you're so successful like Naaman. For instance, this thing that we're doing here, this is becoming kind of a cultural phenomenon. I think.
I'm not sure it is. I'm not sure it is.
I think this is really taking off.
Yeah.
We could get prideful about this sort of thing.
At one point, I heard that last week we had up to like 30 to 50 viewers.
That's incredible.
It was incredible.
This must be what J-Lo feels like every Sunday.
Absolutely. I don't
Or
know
the
about Sunday.
Kardashians.
Or the Kardashians.
Yeah.
So, well, Nathaniel nailed it.
He
So
did. Again.
We can move on to the third question. All right. Third question here. Explain why Naaman didn't want to follow the prophet's instructions. Who do we want to go with here?
Let's try my kids. You want to do...
Are you sure?
let's give it a shot.
All right. Start with
The oldest one. Let's go with the oldest one.
yes.
Audrey.
I was going to say the oldest one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's go with the oldest
Let's
one.
go with Audrey.
Audrey, what do you think?
Disappointed. I expected a little more. I really expected a little more. That's kind of what I was thinking we'd get out of Emma, not Audrey. Well, let's try Emma.
Emma. Maybe she'll
Right.
redeem the Williams name this time. Let's
try
go. Emma, what do you think? What's your group got?
Can we get something to eat after this?
Boy, her mother and I are really proud.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet.
You want to try, let's try Mike's kid, Nathaniel.
Was it,
You heard of him?
well,
Let's
we
give it a
might as-
shot.
I don't know why we don't just start with him,
Yeah.
honestly. All right, go ahead, Nathaniel.
Represents people not understanding the simple concept of being saved through faith. Not our works. It's just too simple.
Once again,
Nailed it.
nailed it.
Yep.
All right.
Like I said last week, it's uncanny.
It is uncanny. It's like as if he's reading it.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about this one.
Well, Naaman didn't want to follow the prophet's instructions because it just seemed too easy. It didn't make sense. I mean, if the prophet Elisha would have given him this elaborate set of instructions, kind of a works-based thing, go do this, give enough of that, whatever it was, that would have made sense, and he would have just done it right away. But this was such a simple thing. Go take a bath in a little crummy river. He said, I've got rivers nicer than that in my neck of the woods. Why would I want to do that here?
Right.
To have the faith to do something simple just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well, and really, this represents us coming to Christ. I mean, how we get saved. We get saved by grace through faith.
Yeah.
It's really a simple process, and that was the title of our lesson day. It's easier than you think, I believe.
Yeah.
And that's really what it is. I think a lot of times because of our pride and because of just our nature, we think that there's something we have to do. We have to contribute to our own salvation. And this is a picture of that. He thought there should be more to it than what there was. But really, being saved by grace through our faith is it's easier than you think. It's a simple thing. And sometimes I think we make too much of that.
Well, in all of the other world religions, it's all about working your way to salvation, working your way to heaven. Ours is unique in that God did it all for us.
And many times, even within our own faith, you see a lot of people get tied up and become very legalistic.
Yeah.
And they want to start adding stuff to it. There's more to it than that. And really, there's not.
Yep.
There's really not.
Very good. Okay, for the final question, why did Naaman take 2 mule-loads of earth back home with him? Let's start out with Audrey's group back there.
All right. Audrey, what do you think?
It's either Elijah or Elisha.
She's gonna be living at my house for a long time. How about Anna over there?
Let's try Anna.
Anna, what's your group
This
got?
ought to make me proud.
I drew this picture of Elijah.
As a freshman, she can really handle the basketball.
She can handle
She did a
basketball.
really nice job this year. I think maybe she got to focus on basketball. That might be more gifting.
I think she probably ought to focus on studying the lesson.
Oh, well,
in
there is
advance.
that.
In
Yeah,
advance.
that might help.
All right.
How about little Dave?
Let's try little David again.
Yep.
I like some of his new songs.
He's been coming here for a long time.
He's
You
been
noticed
coming
that?
here for a long
He's been ever since he's a little kid. Little Dave's been here.
Right. And I think
That's all
he
I've got
really,
to say about that.
I think he does a good job of studying his worship sets.
Yep.
All right. Let's try Max.
Oh yeah, Max will nail it.
Max will redeem everybody
Go ahead,
here. I
Max.
bet.
How many more years of youth do I have?
Nope. Didn't do it.
You know, I want to thank Max for doing all this work on this video, though. He's really been.
Does a good job of editing, and sometimes he even edits us right out of things that
Do you get
we
the
thought-
impression he doesn't think we're that funny?
he does not think we're that funny. All right. Let's go to NJ. Let's see what NJ says.
Come on, Nathaniel, redeem this thing.
All right, NJ.
Reverence for God of Israel. Somehow going to use that in his place of worship when he returns home.
That's again, it's impressive.
Yep,
That's impressive.
yep. He's the real deal.
Yeah.
Well, it's no doubt. Naaman had an encounter with the true and living God. I mean, nothing. Leprosy at the time was it's incurable. I mean, it's something that they couldn't do anything with, and it was not only debilitating, but it'd kill you.
Yeah.
And he was cleansed of leprosy, which is just amazing. And he wanted whatever that was. That glimmer of God. He wanted that with him all the time.
Yep. And that's what he had said to Elisha was the God of Israel is the one true and living God.
Yep.
After this encounter and him being cured of leprosy. And I actually I really didn't know why he took the 2 mule loads of dirt. Specifically, I was just kind of, myself, I was taking a stab at it, was assuming that he wanted to take that ground back with him, and then when he built a place of worship there in his own country, he would have the land from the true and living God of Israel.
That's what I think, too. I think he just wanted to worship on holy ground.
Right.
And that was in his early young walk with the Lord. That made sense to him.
Right.
He did think about, he still had to take his boss to church, and he didn't worship the true and living God.
Right.
So he made it known that he was still going to be respectful in his environment, in his culture. He still had to do a job, to take care of his boss, the king. But he was going to be worshiping the true and living God the best way he knew how, and he wanted to be on holy ground. So that's why he took it back. That's what we think.
That was my opinion. I read some commentary on it, and that's what others thought as well. So
Well, I think we're
on the right track.
I think we did it. I appreciate you guys tuning in again with us. The 6 or 8 of you that are faithfully watching this each
Right.
week.
I think there's dozens.
All right. Well, let's send it over to Dave. Dave, if you would close us out in prayer and then take us out with one last song.
All right.
Thanks, guys. Let's go ahead and close in prayer. Dear Lord, thank you for being able to still gather, even if not in person, Lord, and for the technology that allows us to do it. I pray, Lord, may we go through our weeks this week and study more, Lord, and take advantage of the time we have, to look into you, Lord. And I just pray, may you sharpen us through this experience, Lord, and may we come out better Christians for it, Lord. Pray, Lord, in your Son's name. Amen. One day when heaven is filled with his praises, one day when sin was as black as could be, Jesus came forth to be born of a virgin, dwelt among men by example was he. The Word became flesh and your light shine among us, his glory revealed. Living he loved me, dying he saved me, buried he carried my sins far away, rising he justified freely forever. One day he's coming, oh glorious grave could not keep him from rising again. Living, he loved me. Dying, he saved me. Buried, he carried my sins far away. Rising, he justified freely forever. One day he's coming, oh glorious day, oh glorious day, glorious day. One day the trumpet will sound for his coming. One day the skies with his glories will shine. Wonderful day, my beloved one bringing. My Savior Jesus is mine. Living, he loved me. Dying, he saved me. Buried, he carried my sins far away.